Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So long time no see, but I'm finally back. And the past weekend I played in the VML Championship. So I decided to go through my games to show you how it works. As you can see here, it was an esports draft. So, very high level, very professional. So yeah, and if you don't know about VML organizes series of tournaments for marginalized or underrepresented genders in Magic the Gathering. And they organize 3 seasons per year, and top 8 of each season they go into the championship. And the last season, season 13, I made the top 8. Not only it qualifies to the regional championship, it also qualifies to the VML championship. I cannot talk right now. And the most exciting thing about this championship is that it qualifies to the Pro Tour, so it gives 2 invites to the Pro Tour. Right, probably, honestly, it is, if not the hardest, one of the hardest paths to the Pro Tour there is, but still, I mean. So yeah, the stakes were high. Unfortunately, like, spoilers alert, I didn't get an invite, I didn't make day 2, but I thought it would still be fun and productive, useful, I don't know, even for me, to just rewatch the games to see like where I could play better, or let's see. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So day 1 we played 3 rounds Foundations draft and 4 rounds standard. So here we go with first portion. It was draft. I'm sorry. Let's go back a little bit. All right, so this is my table. I was in pod 1. So the pack. I wouldn't say that it was a very strong pack. So yeah, here I show the players. And of course you see like the seating. I knew that I would play against Jason round 1. Jason Yee. Yeah. Like, Sky Knight Squire is a good creature, of course. White is, if not the best color in Foundations, but one of the best. It's very deep. So it was quite okay to pick that. So yeah, here like I'm really taking my time to see what's gonna will, taking notes and whatnot. So yeah, that was my first pick. Here maybe we can split it up. And of course I get past Haughty Trickster. But here it's quite tricky because Dreadwing Scavenger is like so good, but it's in Temur colors here. Such a great creature, Dreadwing Scavenger. Also baked into a pie. But Haughty Trickster is also, well, it's not a bomby bomb, but it's a very, very solid creature, and if it lives, not only it's a threat on board, but casting all of your spells on your opponent's turn is very powerful. Now here, yes, we have like Blown Trick Mass is okay, but not a card that I want to switch to. Heroic Reinforcements. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe I should have chosen Heroic Reinforcement, but Dazzling Angel is a good pick for me here. It's just, one color. Okay, here we can see blue is wide open, eaten alive, there are some hints, but at some point I realized that I probably don't want to fight for black, let's say. And yeah, like Sky Buccaneer is a very, very good creature, but here I realize that, okay, like what's going on? Like green is open, apparently. Because like Galta, Bite Down. Even Gnarly Colony is a good 2-drop. Igor Travel Snout is okay, but not the best. Honestly, like Galta and Bite Down says a lot. But I decided to stick to my plan and just, you know, card for my deck. I don't know, maybe I should have switched to green at that point. Because you see, like Llanowar Elves and Indrik. Llanowar Elves, I think it's a high pick, so you know, the signals were there. Okay, I was, yeah, happy to see that. Maybe I should have switched to green, I don't know. Yeah, because here, again, I could have big colony here. There's a 2-drop, so like if I decided to switch on a pack with Kaltine Buy Down, yeah, like the follow-up would be Llanowar Elves and Buy Down and Colony. Honestly, not bad. Could have been an option. Also, Simic is underdrafted, and I feel like green in general is very underdrafted because, you know, there were times where I could not only could I actually did draft mono green with just a slight splash and drop it, like it was crazy. Hello there. Okay, yeah. Target for a sideboard. Land. Draw land is always good, so we have to think possible splashes, or I don't know. And yeah, as you can see, that probably green was the way to go for me. I mean, the deck turned out okay, but like, see that? What? Pick 13 Galta like crazy. Yeah, at this point, like, yeah. I know, maybe I should have switched, but I should have switched earlier, to be honest. Yeah, Helpful Hunter is okay. Dreadwind Scavenger. You see like 2 Llanowar Elves in this pick. Bite Down. Genesis Wave. I don't know. I may be wrong, but I don't really believe in the card Genesis Wave. I don't think that is good and limited. So my picks were some Blessed Healer or Helpful Hunter. I was happy to pick Helpful Hunter here. Of course, like, it's easier to drop and draws your card. Not very aggressive, but still. Okay, so here we have reinforcements, and like I'm straight up choosing that first, but then I'm thinking Desolate Angel. Desolate Angel is better than this, and probably I can pick my early game, like my 2 drops later. So I'm like pick 2, back 2. But speaking of green, like you see, we have Elvisher Grower, which is a very high pick. The rest is, yeah, not exciting. Here we see 2 good black cards, Eaten Alive and Pilfer. Only 1 white card, and Squad Railer is actually okay, and in my deck, it was okay actually, you know. Looking for angels, whatnot, but here again, like, get best loot, but here, I'm thinking, you know what, I need an edge. I already have a jewel land, so why not Splashing Tatiola Like, I was open to that possibility. And again, you see, like, I should have drafted Simic, I think. Like, see, Paladin is okay, but it's not good in my deck. It's particularly good in Selesnya with unicorns, of course. Begin here, play just in case. You see, like, here I am just yeah, I picked Indrik, and I actually ended up sideboarding Indrik. Yeah, Evolving Wilds, fine for that splash. The mana base was okay. I was pretty happy with my mana base. Like, one card as a splash, totally fine. And yeah, again, I'm like a little bit, green. Green is so good. Pick an Adept, which turned out to be very mediocre in my deck. I didn't have a lot of instants or sorceries. Here I'm picking Campus Guide. Again, thinking about that splash, and it's a 2-draw that you're gonna trade and you don't care about it. Again, Landwar Else, like, I was in pain at this point, like, oh my god, green. Yeah, it's nothing exciting here. So, pack 2 was rough. I could pass a lot of green. Not a lot of white at all. And blue also was quite mediocre. So pack 2 was a struggle. And yeah, I was looking at my deck, like, it was lacking power, removal. And here we go to pack 3. And yeah. Best card in this pack is probably Burst Lightning. Shaman Dragon is okay, but it's a 6-mana creature. Still, for me, Witness Protection, because yeah, I need removal. Here we go again. Nothing much for me, and this pack looks a little bit weak. So I'm picking just 2-drop, which turned out to be exactly that. Just a 2-mana 2/1. Ooh, here I got past Day of Judgment. And also, like, a bunch of solid white cards. The Letter Savior is good. Legend Flight is a good trick. Helpful Hunter, of course. Make Remove is not the best removal, but it is a removal. And also a blue card, Icewind. What was it? No, that flyer. Yeah, Elemental. Icewind Elemental. So I'm picking that, but here I'm thinking, okay, Essence Scatter. Essence Scatter is probably better. Also, like, works as your 2-drop. And speaking of green, but here, you know, I would love to pick Goldwyn pick 2, but yeah, I went for Essence Scatter in the end. And yeah, like, Llanowar Elves, honestly, at this point, I could have drafted, I don't know, like, 3 copies of Llanowar Elves. I'm picking Archmage of Runes, which works better in Temur and Izzet. Here, unfortunately, again, I don't have a lot of sorcery or instant spells, so I ended up just not playing it. Otherwise, it's good. I like the stats, and of course the ability is strong. Yeah, here is just okay. I'm happy that I got past Veteran. You know, Veteran is exactly what I needed. Just to know some boost, some, I don't know, some solid creature threat. Try and go through my sideboard. Another veteran. I'm like, okay, sigh of relief. 2 veterans is real good. And resilience. Not the best, but okay. And the rest just, yeah. Goes to sideboard. So here I have like 23 cards already. Red implied. I was happy to draft that. As you can see, I put Otters in the sideboard. Broken Wings. Again, sideboard option. So at this point, I decided that I'm going to splash at Yo Shore. Because this deck, it just, you know, it needed some power. And yeah, also that Tranquil Cove at Jewel Land. I was happy that I got past that, which made my mana base even better. So you can see mana base is great. Have 8 sources, each of main color. Splash, like, you know, Campus Guide, Rolling Wilds. I was happy with my mana base, so I felt good about that splash. Of course, like, splash is always not ideal. You know, you'd rather just draft solid 2-color deck, but I feel like in this deck it was perfectly fine. Oh my god, Foamy! Hello, thank you so much! Thank you! I appreciate you, love. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I cannot believe it. Like, a year passed by. Oh my god. So yeah, I'm reviewing my games from the past VML Championship. It was my draft, and we're going to see Game 1. Game 1, it was a feature match against Jason E. And, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was happy with my gameplay. I feel like I did what I could. I did my best. But, yeah. Like, spoiler alert, I lost. But it was a heck of a game, honestly. And Jason, they played Mardu, almost like, you know, straight up 3-color deck, which was crazy. But it worked. So here, I feel good. Like, you know, I have my 2-drop, 3-drop. Even like my splash color is there. So if I draw Titiova, I should be fine. You're like, what could it mean? And of course, we had open deck lists, so I knew about tricks in Jason's deck. So there could be this +2, +0 first strike. Could be anything. I decided not to block, you know, being fully tapped. But it was just, yeah, Alicia. I mean, just. Starting strong, huh? And now I'm thinking, like, I have Day Judgment, but casting Day Judgment now not be optimal. Like, honestly, I would not benefit much from it. I know Alicia is a threat that you have to deal with almost immediately, but I decided to let them, you know, commit a little bit more to the board. Now here, like, I can block whatever, because next turn I knew that I would, like, I had to cast their Judgment. And this turn, you know, I would block whatever and cast think twice. Okay, I'm going to, hold on, put myself here, back to my spirit companion. Okay. So yeah. Also, Fanatical Firebrand is such a combo with Alicia. Like I mean, Alicia is a bomb on its own, but there are so many cards that, you know, crazy interaction with it. Fanatical Firebrand, also this Signpost in common. Yeah, like here I had to. They committed enough, but again, it was not the best because I lost a lot of life because of the Blood Witch. Like you see, it's kind of crazy. Now I'm thinking they probably also, Jason had to threaten this what was involuntary employment and 2 eaten alive, so you know that is some combo. And I figured probably they have removal, so I didn't have land drop, and I knew that I probably wouldn't draw a card from Buccaneer. And here again, like, yeah, instead of Titio, I thought like this is reasonable. If they attack with trade, I don't care. And I just, like, at this point, I just have to wait for that land and start drawing with Tatiova. But honestly, like, I was watching the coverage afterwards, and it's crazy. Like, Jason, they drew, like, insanely, spell after spell, because at this point, like, they only had 2 eaten alive after Day of Judgment. So right after Day of Judgment, they drew a creature, attacked, and drew this one. Like, insane. Yeah, second copy of Eaten Alive. So there's that. Another top deck, by the way, but I mean, it's the name of the game. They also had 2 copies of Heroic Reinforcements. And I just had to go for it. Usually, like, I prefer not to play like that. So yeah, we just chill. Next attack was brutal. So the whole game I was thinking, like, based on the first attack, do they or do they not have this trick +2/+0? Like, here I decided to block because I can die from Burst Lightning. I mean, if they had it, they probably would have cast anyways, you know, I'm at 4, right? But still, I decided not to take any damage. And yeah, they had that strike, but they did not have it at the beginning. And like here, yeah, exactly, like that was a top deck actually, yeah. And what can you do? They just had better draws, honestly. Right, so I decided to board the Interials. Thinking about Indrik. Also, you know what? I should have put at least 1 forest in my sideboard. I totally forgot about it. Maybe it would have been better because I boarded an Indrik. I mean, I don't undermine, of course, the skill of Jason E. I mean, Jason E is probably one of the best players in the moment. But yeah, like, that was insane. But I mean, you know, it happens, of course. The deck was okay, not my best deck. It's just, yeah, well, we'll see what's going to happen next. Honestly, it was painful. That draft, I had so many mana issues. Just crazy. And I mean, I don't want to blame Splash because I think, and like, I stand by it, like, the mana base is good. But yeah, there was just, what can you do, right? But if Tatiova stayed, who knows, right? Alright, so here, you see, like, this hand, I mean, I'm keeping it, because I have Helpful Hunter. I just need one more land. I have, like, my early game plan covered. Luckily, I drew an island, so... Well, yeah, I agree. Like, honestly, they didn't need to do much that game, that's true. But again, it's the name of the game we play. I just drew way worse than they did. This game was insane. Again, you see, like, I didn't hit my 4th land drop, even after casting the thing twice. I mean, at least it was a spell that I could cast. Trying to raise them. Oh, that was nasty. That was like a nightmare. You see, I cast Involuntary Employment and Eaten Alive, and not only they had an insane attack, they just, you know, removed creatures. And it's like, now thinking, like, Day of Judgment feels so bad here, but I had to cast it. I took a lot of damage. I lost 2 premier creatures in my deck. And yeah, like, basically I just cast Day of Judgment into this 2-drop, which felt very bad. But here, you know, at least the board is clear. Also, I did not realize, but as you can see, they don't have a white source. So they just cast Golden Pick. I'm thinking they either have a bunch of threat. I mean, not bunch of threatens. Another copy of threaten removal. Yeah. And here I'm thinking, like, here I took a very long pause. Like, what could it mean? Why would they cast it just like that? Do they have another Eaten Alive? So I'm thinking, what can I do? Should I cast Indrik or not? Because potentially, if they just cast it as it is to deal damage and to maybe finish me off next turn with Burst Lightning, at least, you know, I have a chance. I have a chance to kill them in return, like in my turn, actually. And it was the right decision. But honestly, it was a scary one. Because if they did have indeed another Eaten Alive, I mean, that's it. That would probably be it. That would be honestly completely devastating. But luckily they did not. They just needed that white source. And yeah, I was like, whew. I got this. I got this. So yeah, that was a game too. Kind of crazy. After that, threaten into Eaten Alive, like, oh my god, it was so devastating. Now I'm thinking, should I change something? But felt alright. Also, after this match, again, it was broadcasted, it was a feature match, I received so much support, you know, so it was very, you know, reassuring, very sweet. At least, you know, some compensation, moral compensation. It was nice. Yeah, like, that game, I was like, whew, yeah, maybe, I have a chance. Yeah, that was good. Right, yes, I'm so excited. Yes, I'm entering my competitive era again. At the end of January, I'm going to play Regional Championship in Prague. So, but we'll talk about it later. Here, as you can see, like I'm keeping it this hand. Now that I have a campus guide, but you want to find that green source, but oh my god, I'm missing the land drop. So, I decide to find that land instead of cast an adept, because missing land drops is not what you want to do in this deck. And yeah, here Alicia becomes a legitimate business person. Oh, I hope to. I hope to. Yes. That's honestly the plan. But the plan is to go to the MagicCon as competitor. And like in the comments, people, yeah, were laughing about it. What kind of business can Alicia run? A legitimate business person. Ah, man, like, and here my mana problems start. Like, why island? But I mean, okay. Like, I realized that I cannot block that goblin under the pick with Golden Pig. And Golden Pig is one of the best cards in Jason's deck because it fixes their mana base. Of course, it allows them to have good attacks. Yeah, like, honestly, this is the critical point where me not hitting a land drop, specifically white land drop, it's very crucial. Like here, I'm facing creatures that I cannot possibly block. I mean, I can, but could be devastating, so I knew I had to block and also proactively cast Fleeting Flight. And it felt so bad. But I had to go for it. Also, there's new combat rules. They're so bad in defense. Like, if we played with old combat rules, both of my creatures would have survived. Like, here I'm like, I almost, you know, like, close my eyes at this point. But, yeah. Honestly, they didn't need to do anything. Okay, at least it was a spell that I could cast, and it was a good one. But if you count like how many turns I could not hit that land drop, it was crazy. Okay, and this turned out to be such a good turn for them again, because they had an attack. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Here, like, not a land, not a land. Another spell that I cannot cast now. I decide, I mean, at this point, I cannot possibly raise this. I have to block. Knowing about all of their involuntary unemployments and this reinforcements, I have to be very careful. So here they probably didn't have a very good attack, and they decided not to in the end. Oh my god. My draws, like, honestly, it was so painful. But here, you know, it was maybe a blunder. I should have activated Relier my turn, because I had 2 turtles. And I realized that after they cast this, because the turtle, I'm like, oh no, why not activated my turn? Like, first, like, obviously you want to pick Hunter, but you see, like, in my situation, I need to pick Turtle, because if I draw my second planes, I could double spell. I could cast Veteran and Turtle actually, you know, holds all of their creatures at bay. So here I decide, you know, I'm gonna block everything I can. I'm not gonna do any double blocks, like, I'm not asking for trouble. But I don't remember what exactly they did in hand. Probably not much. Okay, so first time it fizzled, I'm like, oh my god, unbelievable. Then yeah, they found that Blood Witch. Honestly, such a struggle, but Dazzling Angel, I mean, at least I could double spell that turn. Otherwise, it would have been like a total disaster. So Turtle against the Blood Witch proved to be very solid in this game, you know. Doesn't deal any damage. It just stays there. Also, it does not have Defender, so I could have attacked, potentially. So yeah, okay, finally I drew that plains, but the thing is that at this point I'd rather draw forest or a green source. Alright, they had that in hand, yes, when they stole my Aurelia unemployment. And now, like, yeah. Again, it's just sort of, you know, waiting game. They basically wait for me to make a mistake so they could swing. Or, you know, two Dauntless Veterans is a good threat. And now I had to think hard about my attack because I had to attack, obviously. But I had to be very careful about it. So, how would you attack, by the way? I decided to go just with two veterans. It was a solid attack. So, as you can tell, their strategy at this point just to drain me as much as they can. Reinforcements. I believe it was a top deck, but like instantly you see like how insane this card is in the right deck. Reinforcements with Blood Witch. Oh my god! And like now, I figured that they probably have Bursting Light or what's it called in hand, because they did not equip a creature. They have exactly 5 mana, so I figured that's it. And if I don't block with Trickster, I'm just dead on board. I turn out to be right, but I should have blocked differently. I should have blocked Blood Witch with Trickster, because Blood Witch is the card that holds their game plan together. And yeah, now they think hard because they have that Burst Lightning in hand. So I was right about that. Because, you know, they kind of gave it away. But also it was the right thing to do, right? So they have this 5 mana open for whatever happens. So yeah, they thought hard about it. They had to save the Blood Witch. And yeah, if I blocked differently, if I just blocked Trickster with Trickster, if I blocked Blood Witch, sorry, with Trickster, it would have been better for me, of course. Now again, like here starts another series of unfortunate top decks for me. And let's see what Jason draws next. It's a creature that I cannot block now with Turtle. Oh man, it's just so painful to watch It's painful to relive this moment, like... I just, yeah, holding for dear life here. Island. Here, like, I have to block, of course, otherwise I'm dead on board. Next top deck. Dun dun dun, Essence Scatter. Right on time. Not. It was just painful, like... The only card that could save me at this point was Day of Judgment. So I was really hoping to draw that. And dun da da da! It's forest. And like, what can you do? Too late. Honestly, if I drew forest instead of that island, it would have been different. But yeah, that's it. GG. It was very unfortunate. Yeah. Game 1 I lost. It was kind of insane game. So we proceed to game 2. I'm playing against Norsing, which is another prominent member of Sanctum Hall. And here I think like I'm okay. Loot, yes, is problematic, so they have they splashed for this Temur flyer, what it was called, scavenger. They cannot activate loot because they don't have a second green source, so the attack was justified. Good morning, how are you? Okay. But they blocked because they had removal. Okay, they cast their... Hold on. Like, now I'm thinking... What are they splashing for? Because 3 islands is quite a lot for a splash. Like here, I feel like we're good. We're sad. Like, even this turn it was okay. Maybe... I don't know. They should have sacrificed loot. Like, with Veteran and Dinosaur, I don't want to trade with Arbiter of Woe. So I did not attack. They, of course, did not either. So now I have a very good attack. Pumping all of my creatures. All of them have power 4 and greater. No, all of them. Yeah. Taking 9. I'm fine with that. I still have gas. So this game, you see, like, it was pretty easy for me. But that was also because they could not draw their green source, second green source. It was a little too late at this point. Yeah, I think they splashed blue, and I think it was just too many blue sources. Now I have again, good attack. I don't have to do anything. Yeah, that was enough. Now I'm looking at their list. They have a lot of removal. So actually, yeah, it was Golgari, I believe, with the blue splash. And they had Liliana in their deck. So they had a bomb, actually, like a real bomby bomb. So their deck was more on a control side. I did not have anything against that. So in this matchup, I had to be the beatdown. And yeah, after thinking hard about my options, I decided not to board anything in. Okay. Yeah, just... Okay, just my hand and like... No gas. Yeah, Tetio was so good, but also I felt like my deck really needed that, you know, some value. I did not have like any bombs really. And yeah, Tetio can just win your games. So here they start very aggressively. Again, I did not draw a land, but I think I'm good here. Because I have two helpful hunters, I have Campus Guide, of course. I would want to find a green source. Alright, I'm thinking fine. Like this was a very aggressive start from them. I decided I need to find a land. So next turn I could double spell, build the board, also make this fire bigger. But that spider, oh, that spider. So I decided to double spell, draw 2 cards instead of just casting Rallier. But the thing is that I could not attack, unfortunately, because of this spider. I didn't want to trade for spider, but I think it was correct. So I'm thinking... Cannot really attack with that flyer, so I may as well just trade with their threat. It was basically the only threat on board, so the rest look pretty defensive, and now like I have Day of Judgment. It feels not great to cast just yet, but I think they cast Liliana next turn, and I was like, oh my god. Just a disaster. So I'm thinking I'm gonna cast the dinosaur, so next turn maybe I'll have a good attack. Let's wait for them to commit a little bit more to the board. They did not, unfortunately. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to attack with the dinosaur. The only thing for me to do that was to sort of sacrifice the cats. So they either trade dinosaur with spinner, which is not great for them. They take 5. So, you know, my plan was to just deal as much damage as I could before I cast that Day of Judgment. And like now, like, yeah, yeah, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. Honestly, this is just painful because, of course, like, what are my options? I cannot deal with Liliana. I cannot deal with Spider. If I just cast Day of Judgment now, not only they're gonna draw a card, but they will create a zombie next turn. And I mean, my only hope was maybe I could draw that combat trick that keeps flying. I don't know if they attack with the spider. Like, there are a lot of Fs, but you know, yeah, here they decided to attack. Like, next turn they did not attack with the spider, which was correct. I'm not sure they had to attack this turn. I mean, they're all set, you know? Like, truly, there's not much I can do here. Liliana, just too powerful. I'm just gonna, yeah. pass through that, so I decided to cast Veteran. Again, you know, casting that Day of Judgment not great at all. So not only they will draw 3 cards, they have had a creature from the Sage, and you know, like, overall, yeah, this is just an uphill battle for me. I could not win this game, and I of course realized that. Now they had I would say No, they did not attack yet. Next turn, they decided to attack with the Sage. So, yeah. As you can see, that here is the moment. I, of course, double block because, okay, I thought, like, now's the time for that Day of Judgment. Otherwise, they would just kill me with their creatures on board. But, again, they're gonna draw 5 cards from my Day of Judgment. 5 cards from freaking Day Judgment. Yeah, here. Let's just go back to that moment. Yeah. Okay, this is my turn. Yeah, like, I had to. Or I'm dead. No, I'm not going to play today. I'm going to review the games from the VML Championship. So now we're covering the draft part, and we're going to Standard in a bit, so after one more game. Yeah, like, here I realized that, yeah, it's just not worth it. Again, nothing I could board in. So game three, I don't know. I mean, game 1 was, of course, pretty easy. Game 2, I could not deal with Liliana at all. Game 3 was more complicated than that, and I think I misplayed in that game, but let's see. Would it change? Could it change things if I played differently? I don't think so. Like, when I analyzed the game right after, I thought that probably nothing I could do in the end, but yeah. And again, it's like a spoiler alert for you. I lost the game, fortunately. Here, I mean, my plan is to just, you know, put pressure as much as I can before they cast that Liliana. So, like, here I feel like I'm in a good position. I can raise them with my flyers. Kiora can wait. But like this. Removal number 1. I mean, okay, we're still more or less fine with Trickster. Like, I drew Buccaneer. I feel like I'm very well positioned at the moment. Because, yeah, like, creatures. Total power 8, flying. I feel good. But they had too much removal this game, and I think like next turn I should have chosen a different strategy. So of course I'm taking 4 because like my plan is just to kill them with flyers. And of course they realized that, but I mean, it would have been a totally fine trade for them. Like now at this moment, I knew that they have spells only because they were missing land drop. And here I just should have stayed on block. I should have stayed on block because I don't have much gas left. And with Tatiova, I could probably won this game or stabilize better. So here they have like an insane attack for 7. It's a lot of damage. So here I definitely had to adjust my strategy, to change my strategy. So here like I should have realized that I cannot raise this at this moment. At this point. I have to block that Trampler. So now all of a sudden, tables have turned. And this, again, drain me for 2. I've lost a lot of damage. That attack. So now I'm facing what? I have to block that Ranger, and not with my flyer, but with Tatiova and Adept. So this was just, as bad as it gets. I had to lose my Tatiova and Adept and also take damage. So that was, yeah. That attack, that cost me a lot. Hello, Shenlong. TTV, how are you? Yeah, that was... Yeah, again, only Day of Judgment could save me at this point. It was a GG. Dead on board. But also, they had a removal. So, in the end, I don't know if I could win this, but I definitely could have one more turn. So yeah, okay, we're moving on to the third game of the draft portion of the championship. I mean, I was really mad, honestly. After this draft portion, I was truly heartbroken, honestly, because I came into the championship very well prepared. At least I felt so. I only had 2 weeks to prepare. And I played a lot of drafts and I played it successfully. I felt like I knew the format well. So yeah, like honestly, I expected to finish the draft portion 2-1. It was my realistic expectation. but already I'm at 0-2. So we are up against Temur deck. So here, I mean, I could cast Witness Protection, but I thought, like, okay, they don't have a threshold for now. When they do, then I cast the Witness Protection, and with Fleet and Flight, no, it's a combat trick. Why not? No, it's not Arena Open. It was a VML Championship. VML, they organize tournaments for people of marginalized or underrepresented gender in Magic the Gathering, and these tournaments are very competitive. So they run 3 seasons, and top 8 of each season they qualified to the championship, and in this championship you could qualify to a Pro Tour. They had 2 spots for the Pro Tour Chicago. So here, yeah, like I'm battling for those Pro Tour slots. And of course, very high level, like insanely stacked field. Very, very competitive. Basically, you know, like day 1, a Pro Tour structure. So it had 3 rounds of draft and 4 rounds of standard. No, we do not. Or do we? No, I think I said it at the beginning. I did not get an invite, unfortunately. I did not make day 2. And it was all because of the draft portion. Honestly, I really counted on draft. Yeah, like here again, you know, there was a point when suddenly the tables turned. Like, I felt like I navigated this game really well. So at the beginning it was like alright, but here, like, yeah. So I'm thinking, like, my plan is to still raise them. I'm just, you know, hoping, like, if I attack, if they don't block, let's say. Okay, they decided to block. Fine. Okay, not. So you see, like, my plan is just to raise them, but no. They had... They drew what they needed exactly. That was crazy. I was like, what? What could they draw that they discarded? Witness Protection, but it was Mischievous Mystic. Yeah. Like, and now I cannot win all of a sudden, and in this situation I can die in return if I attack with all, so they just block, have a Trickster, take 5, and just... yeah, kill me in return. So yeah, the draft portion was very devastating because like standard, so we're going to talk about standard in a bit. I ended up playing 3-1, so spoiler, so I did well in this standard portion. And I think I could have done even better if I just, you know, if I had that one more win and in draft. So, or, you know, if I ended up playing like 2-1, yeah, I would be in day 2. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, at least I feel like I played correctly. So I maybe like did not navigate well, game 3 from the previous game, but here I feel like I just, you know, realized what were my chances to win and just went for it, but, you know, you just, you saw it all. And this was a great showcase of how good Scavenger is, right? This card is just insane, that flyer. You have to get a good draft and go first, draw good, and then you can punt. To be honest, I was not super happy with my draft. It's not the best draft, but it was all right. I feel like I could have definitely make 2-1 with it, with right draws, you know. But yeah, just no chance. And again, the deck that I'm playing against is more of on control side, but they have flyers as well, so I decided to board in Broken Wings. Again, I wish I had that second forest in my sideboard, but I just completely forgot about it when I submitted my deck list. Just skip forward. Game 2, I mean, this draft I had so much mana issues. I was just unbelievable. Here, you know, I feel like it was totally fine to keep a hand like that. All of my spells are white. I have an early game. I have Helpless Hunter, but again, it did not matter because I drew an island afterwards. So I feel like I'm good here. Campus Guide is gonna find my forest, my only forest, when I'm going to need it. So when I cast this, I realized that I did not have a good attack. But I mean, it's alright. I could still develop. And then have an even better attack. Okay, Broken Wings. So I realized that it's time. It's time to find the forest, I think. I don't remember, but I think I double spelled this turn. So yeah, I do not have a good attack. You don't want to trade your veteran for skeleton, obviously. So because obviously this is the block. So I'm just developing. I know that next turn I would have a good attack. Okay, so they did not cast anything. They probably sit on that voyage. But I mean, still, if they cast it before combat, which they should have, but they did not, then I just simply don't attack. But now, like, yeah, the coast is clear. They took a lot of damage here, and I was fine with that. Now they cast Voyage, and I think that turn was very critical for them. They should have cast Voyage before combat, or they should have brought back the skeleton and maybe cast Voyage on their turn or on my turn, whatever, because like now this is just too late for them to do anything, I think. Also missing the land drops. Okay. So here again, we're facing pretty much the same hand as in the last game. So I'm keeping it, of course. I mean, I feel like I have time. I'm gonna start with Squire. Followed up with Veteran, then Hunter, Campus Guide, whatever. This game, yeah. I mean, it's still Veteran, right? And attack, I mean, if they decide to trade with Scavenger, I mean, I'm fine with that because Scavenger just such a good card, just insanely good. Okay, I was happy that they decided to trade, honestly. Because looking at my hand, I'm like, okay, again, I'm blocking because we had open deck lists. I knew that they could not have anything. Like now, I'm just beginning to losing it a little. Because like this just, you know, just ridiculous, just kind of unbelievable. And not a land. Like, what are you gonna find with Campus Guide? Like, you need blue, but you need green, obviously. At the same time, there are more chances for you to draw blue swords than the green one because you have only one forest in deck and that one dual land. Not a land again. And yeah, like here I have to make a decision, and based on that probability I decided to find a forest. Because again, I have broken wings. I can, I don't know, deal with their flyer, even Malkin's Pride, why not? Because already I'm at 14. I did not attack because at least now they cannot drain me with Siphoneer. So this game is also very painful to watch because it was just so unfortunate. Planes. Planes! Freaking planes. I mean, I knew they had a refute here, so yeah. I mean, I could not know for sure, but it was pretty obvious, right? Also, I knew about that card in their deck. So... So, what do you think? Did I draw Island in the end or not? This is a lot of damage already. I'm just thinking... like, blocking Skeleton feels bad, right? And as you can see, I did not draw an island, nor Day of Judgment. Honestly, Day of Judgment have saved me. Honestly, it felt so bad. It felt just I was devastated at this point, just completely heartbroken because of the mana issues. I had such a good mana base, and like, what can you do? Okay, sorry, we're moving on here to the standard portion. I'm going to pause it a little bit, just talk about the draft. So, my draft, I played 0-3, and yeah, like, completely not what I expected, but nothing I could do. Like, it was extremely frustrating. All of those ridiculous mana issues, like, how? Why? And now we're going to talk a little bit about standard portion. So it was a very small field, but a very high level field. So there was total 24 players, all of the top 8s from the past seasons of VML. And going into the standard, by the way, my deck was Azorius Oculus, Azorius Tempo. What I expected from the field, I expected a lot of Otters because, hey, it's Sanctum of All. So I knew that probably like a quarter, if not a third, would be Otters. So Otters was a deck to beat in my mind, and actually a deck that beats Otters is Mono Red or Gruul, like any kind of variation of that aggro deck with Screaming Nemesis. So that, in my mind, would be the second most popular deck for people who know what to expect. So I expected a lot of Otters and a lot of aggro. And I did not have a lot of experience playing against Otters, but I did face it a couple of times on a ladder while playing Oculus, and it was alright. I did not lose a single game. But again, the level of players is of course different. But still, I thought that, I knew how their deck works, and I knew their key cards, how to play around them and whatnot. And it felt like, honestly, Oculus is very well positioned against that, and also against Mono Red. Pretty much the same. I would say it's like 50-50, and quite favored after Sideboard because I have Sheltered by Ghosts, I have Elspeth Smite, and after Sideboard it felt even better. So I went for it. I knew that people probably would not expect Oculus, so Grave Hate in the sideboards would be like, if not non-existent, but just one or maybe 2 copies of Ghost Vacuum or Rest in Peace if it's a white deck. Now you see, like, because this is such a small field, you cannot expect to ditch your bad matchup, and a bad matchup for Oculus is the main ramp. But I was hoping that people would have the same logic as I did, and they would not pick the main ramp in a field full of Otters and Mono Reds. But guess what? The main ramp was second most popular deck after Otters. So there were 6 copies of Otters, 3 copies, not copies, 3 people with Domain, and 2 people with Mono Red, 2 people with Gruul, so 2 people with Convoke. So if we combine all of the aggro decks, so they were like the same amount as Otters, and then the main ramp, which was completely unexpected. I was like, oh, man, why? People, you should metagame better. But I thought, like, okay, I just need to play the draft portion well, and then I would not get paired against Domain, because Domain loses to Otters, and all of the Domain players would be on the bottom. And I was correct. I was correct in all of my predictions, but the problem is that I was on the bottom as well. So I had to face them inevitably. Oh man, like, it hurts so much. If I just played, if I ended up playing the draft a little bit better, I probably wouldn't have faced the main ramp, because it was my only loss in standard portion. But oh well. Okay, let's move on to the standard portion. And guess what? My first opponent was Autumn Burchett, a Pro Tour champion. And they played Otters. So this was like a true test if my predictions were correct regarding the matchup. So, Autumn, they didn't have a Grave Hate at all, by the way. Oh, Toyful, hello, thank you so much for a follow, shout out to you. Here, I'm just developing. I decide to wait for them to do something. If they don't do anything, I mean, I'm fine. I have my moment of truth. I can dig deeper, I can develop still while sitting on that counter spell, because countering, what's it called? Enduring Vitality is very crucial. It's their engine. So you see, like, this is, I feel like, the trickiest part for them. Like, I don't know, should they cast that Vitality still or not? Because for me, I did not lose a turn by sitting on that counter spell. I still developed. Here, like, my plan was to cast Djinn and still sit on my counter spell, but mana issues. I did not have a third blue source, unfortunately. Honestly, Verges can be so annoying in this deck. Okay, so Song for 2 does not seem like much, but if they resolve Vitality, like still, it gives them a lot. Because next turn they could cast Vitality and I wouldn't be able to counter it. So I thought that countering Song was okay. Okay, finally, Verges. Give 2 mana, so they're tapped. Coast is clear, Floodfarm Oculus. But, to be fair, it was a little bit late in the game. Because ideally you would want to bring back Oculus or start doing the unfair stuff early on, like turn 2, turn 3. Feels like they had that. Now I realize that I need to sit on interaction. I cannot tap out because the combo may very much happen next turn. Oculus is a threat. And I think that was it. Did I... Okay, yeah, at the beginning I thought that I need to sit on interaction, but I decided to go for that line, which also slows them down significantly, because they need a lot of mana. They just went for maximum value. I mean, I did what I could. Just, you know, pushing pressure as much as I can because I'm out of gas. Literally nothing in my hand. I think they have to kill Djinn. Yeah. Oh, that was so bad because underneath that was another Djinn. And like the fact that they chose the second morph, let's say the second manifested creature, just shows their skill because, you know, obviously I did not do with my first morph. Apparently there are better chances that there is a creature underneath the second one. So here, like, again, that's it. Like, next turn is little for them. And I cannot prevent them from comboing off, so they have to go for it this turn, or they're dead. Another song. And yeah, Song is a very good card in their deck. Very multifunctional. As you can see, like, now, just like that, they had 6 mana. And yeah, the combo is assembled. They, yeah, here they have all of the pieces. And the spell. Also, you see, like, the song. The fact that you create rats and flat color and taps. Not only otters, but rats as well. It's kind of huge. Yeah, here I can see their combo in action. And like here, I'm just like, you know, fingers crossed. But they found the talent, and I knew that at this point it probably GG. So yeah, the key cards are Storm Chaser's talent and this town ain't big enough. I think this is the name of the card. This town ain't big enough. Enduring Vitality and Flat Color are Engine. But you know, there are a lot of lines that you can like straight combo off, or I don't know. A lot of different lines, a lot of different interactions. But yeah, most important cards are the talent and this bounce spell. Gives them just an insane value and finishes off your opponent. But yeah, like, guess what? It was exactly 18. I was just like here trying to block the best I can, like double checking, but it was exactly 18. Okay, moving on to sideboard. The thing is that even though this is a creature-based combo deck, there are a lot of non-creature spells, and specifically this town ain't big enough. You have to counter it. Or yeah, well, the talent if they cast a turn 1, like there is nothing you can do, right? But yeah, like this this bounce spell is very critical. So I brought in Exorcise, I brought in Mentors, even though I knew they did not have a Grave Hate, but I feel like Mentors, they can just overrun them, while also this bounce spell, they make it not as efficient. So yeah, that was my bet, my strategy in this matchup, to just have more creatures, have more pressure. Because truly I had to be the bit down in this. I had an answer for the talent. Now you see, they started off quite aggressively, so I thought that it was fine to counter the Banes. Now I was hoping that they would board out Torches. Normally they do, I think, against Oculus, but Lithomatic Barrage, I mean, yeah. We don't care about that. So we're good here, like, we're so well positioned now. And, like, here is just, like, chef's kiss. Yeah, they bounced my Mentor, but I created 2 tokens. Had to check, no. I'm just like, no, Oculus, yeah. Doesn't do much, you need to be faster here. To be fair, that Otter did a lot of damage. It's like very powerful, turn 1. Alright, now I'm thinking. I just have to, you know, have to put more pressure, because I thought even if they cast Vitality, which they had on top deck, they don't have a board, so I thought it was manageable. And I think this was the most aggressive option. Also, I had to deal with that Otter token one way or another. Okay, now they could have killed my Mentor, but they would have lost the Vitality, and yeah, of course. But now my Mentor was just unstoppable. Honestly, this saga with Mentors is just insane. Also, I love this deck so much. It's not great for laddering because everyone now has some sort of grave hate, like obligatory 2 to 3 copies of Vacuum, but it is a great option for a specific tournament. I mean, post board, you don't care that much about grave hate. You can deal with that, but of course it still slows you down quite significantly. But Mentors, like, oh my god, like you can see the Mentors in action. And here I knew that, of course, they could pay those 2 mana, but if they do, like, what else is there? You know, they're dead on board. They don't have mana, not really do anything. So all I have to do is to just attack. That's it for the game. So you see, mentors, power of mentors. Don't mess with the monk. So game 3. Did I change anything? I was going to be on a draw again, so I decided to add more negate here. Okay. Because even though they didn't have a Grave Hate, me trimming the sagas was justified by the fact that you cannot really fully tap out on your turn playing against this deck. You have to sit on some sort of interaction. Well, at least at some point. This was good hand. Oh, here I'm like, I drew Oculus, and you know what I did? I skipped my turn to discard Oculus. Because, like, turn to Oculus is insane. The only thing that could wreck it would be, I don't know, like, negate or paw patch formation. But I felt like I still have to go for it. Because it's too powerful. And like, okay, cost is clear, like, insane. Take 7 on turn 3. Which, you know, even mono red, not always they have openings like that. Sure, but still they're taking 4 damage. And like, really like well positioned here. So now they're gonna cast whether they're gonna cast Bushwhack, and I'm thinking, should I counter it or not? And then I remembered that they did not make a land drop, so probably I should not. Like, yeah, they're gonna find a land. That's why I'm like taking a pause to think about it. I decide to resolve it. I better cast Moment of Truth. Yeah, it was correct. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. 3 cards, exactly what I needed, but here I decided to pick an island, so... yeah, because it was a Djinn, I think. Yeah, I wanted to flip the Djinn attack for a lot, but actually there is another Djinn underneath that. Obviously, Autumn could not know this. This was like... This was nasty, this was dirty, but... Yeah, there were 2 Djinns. Not only I had Oculus on my turn too, but I also opened 2 Djinns from that. Manifested 2 Djinns. Manifested Dread. And it, as you can probably guess, that was it, because I had that Phantom Interference. Yeah, they cannot do anything with 1 red mana. They cannot deal with my Djinn, and that was a game. So I was very happy to win that. You know, it meant a lot to beat such a seasoned player as Autumn, like, and also reassured me a lot that I was quite correct about this matchup. So I was very hopeful. I knew that I would not make day 2 because you can only lose twice to make day 2. But top 12, they receive an invitation to the RC9. So I was at least, you know, still in a run for this. Okay, I'm going to make a quick pause and I'll be right back with standard portion, which, you know, is much better for me than the draft one. Let's go a little bit back. So into here, I'm up against Azorius Flash deck. This was very unexpected. I know, it feels like some sort of local innovation. So all of their creatures, they have flash. So they have Errant and Kiora, a bunch of counter spells. Obviously, Enduring Curiosity. So basically, they just, you know, they play their spells on your turn. That's like the vibe and the idea of their deck. And here I'm like thinking, should I cast Kiora or because I knew they run what, like 7 or 8 copies of counterspell? I think 7. Probably 4 copies of No More Lies and 3 copies of 3 Steps Ahead. I decided to cast Kiora because also Aven Interrupters. Very, very annoying. As we're about to see. But the reason why I still cast Kiora last turn, I mean, they play their spells on my turn. So if it's a counter spell, so be it. It's not the end of the world. If they don't counter it, you know, it's insane value for me. Okay, now is the time. I knew like I had to deal with that. Because this is their engine, Errant and Kiora. However, you know, like the cons of casting something like Kiora into No More Lies, it's still more efficient for them, you know? So they don't lose a turn at all. Because they have a bunch of 3-drops. So if you cast something when they have access to 3 or more mana, they have to choose whether they counter it or they develop themselves. And yeah, like here. This was the plan. I mean, the idea of this deck is pretty neat, Azorius Flash, but I feel like it can be very awkward at times because you just have a lot of 3-drops, Aven Interrupters, Kiora, what else, and a lot of counter spells. So, like, how you navigate matchup is very important. When to develop, when to counter something. What to counter exactly. But I mean, I decided that I just have to play my own game because, again, for the same reasoning, they either counter it or they develop. And for me, Yeah, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world because I have Helping Hand in my hand. Right, so I was still able to cast a spell and attack. Not that they have a bunch of flash creatures, but I decided to cast Helping Hand and to just, you know, do something before combat because it gives me more information. Again, because all of their spells have flash, instant speed. They counter it and like, okay, then we'll just hard cast Oculus. You know, just putting more pressure and more pressure, not letting them develop really. Because truly, all of the counter spells, they just sort of slow me down. And while I'm still able to put that pressure, they cannot develop normally. Like here I decided to go to combat just before casting Djinn in case they counter that. Access to interaction. So you see, yeah, they I binded my Oculus, but still it's 5 damage. Okay, no more lies. Despite all of that counter magic, they're at 12. Yeah, like here I'm just checking what has been cast. So also, don't forget about that manland. Restless Anchorage was always on the back of my mind that they have this. They blocker, whatnot. So here I decided to cast Djinn before, so I can, you know, if something happens, double spell, and also, you know, I could still cast Get Lost even if the Djinn did not resolve. But they know about that Get Lost. So they want to get rid of the Oculus for good, so they triple block. Yes, just because they know about this Get Lost, and I thought, I mean, okay. Picklock Prankster does not allow Mastermind to go to combat, so I guess I'm fine with that trade. Also, like, Picklock Prankster, such a good card against Temur. On another note, just because, yeah, it keeps Masterminds at bay, and not fairies, sorry, sirens. Probably other fairies as well. Dust animus. And I mean, yeah, they knew about that Get Lost, but they're thinking about that because they have an angel in hand, and they knew that it would get lost. Yep. Now it becomes a little bit awkward for me. Because if I attack now, they obviously trade. Then make Mastermind bigger and attack with that. I don't want to trade Djinn with Mastermind, and I don't want them to draw a card. So I decide to not attack this turn. Because if they do attack, they're just dead. They're just dead on board next turn. So I decided to not attack and wait a turn. And yeah, like here I'm just thinking about it. Because of course it's very tempting. It's very tempting to attack for 9, and it looks like a fine trade with that Dust Animus, but it's not. Yeah, unfortunately, could make Mastermind bigger, but they don't have an attack here. Also, don't forget about Anchorage, so I knew that they potentially have 3 blockers now. Okay, let's go for it. Now, like the question, do we dig deeper for removal or a bounce spell? Or we just choose Djinn and, you know, like, we still have a very good attack. They still have to block it all. So, yeah, Djinn's just a safer pick. And I'm still taking my time to think about it, because, you know, it's a very high stakes tournament. Very, very competitive. So, yeah. Still have a good attack. We're gonna trade, but it's fine. They have 1 card in hand. And I still have a ward. And another Djinn. Potentially. Okay, now I knew that the coast is clear. And I just cast it all. And it was a game. So now the thing is that they have a lot of counter spells, but they don't have a lot of removal. So I thought that, you know, Shelter by Ghosts may be a good option. I knew that they had 2 Rest in Peace in their sideboard. So I had to, you know, trim my grave interaction. And an Elspeth Smite, because all of their creatures, pretty much all of them, they have toughness 3 and also like the best against curiosity. So I'm still like figuring out the sideboard here. I obviously did not expect this deck, but I knew about this deck because in the top 8 I actually lost to this. I was on Temur midrange and I lost to Azorius Flash. Pretty much the same build, but was without Dust Animus. So I knew how the deck works, you know, at least that. And of course, with open deck lists, it's easier to navigate. Fine. fine hand with the 2 Haughty hands. But you know, with Opt and Moment of Truth, also like as you can see, I have Opts instead of Sleight of Hand. Oh, sorry. I have something in my eye. Just because this instant speed matters so much against mono red, the flexibility that this instant speed gives is huge, and particularly with Monastery Mentor, of course. I'm just thinking, should I counter it? Should I not? Like, probably not. You know, just a fair 2/2 for 3 mana. So, put Monk into the graveyard. I knew that I'd rather develop. But I did not find a 3rd land. All I needed is a land drop, actually. And I did not find it. Okay, here's a land. So I was like, yeah, pretty good. This was a very interesting game. I remember that game too. So they're thinking, because again, I'm pretty sure they have like they're facing a choice whether they develop or enter. And like that was probably too optimistic from them. Oh, those soul partitions, they just, yeah, they wreck me, because it is also quite a combo with interrupters. As you can see, my mentor is now cost not 2 more, but 4 more. Yeah, like here, it was getting awkward. And I think this was a very critical moment, and I decided to cast Kiora, which was too reckless, because I thought, well, if it gets countered, okay, but if it gets interrupted again, oh. And it got interrupted. Like, yeah, that was just very crippling for me. Now, like, yeah. What probably I could have done, I mean, you know, that was very awkward. I probably still shouldn't have cast Kiora. I should have waited. I should have been maybe more patient in this situation. Because, yeah, like, that was a disaster. And me not hitting a 3rd land drop, so I could not cast Mentor and another spell. Felt very, very bad. So probably I should have just sit on my interaction or get lost and unsummon. But this turn was quite okay for me, as you're about to see. So they have counterspell, of course. But the monk is strong. I mean, ideally, I would love that to resolve, but I mean, still. I'm gonna unsummon all of their interrupters, block Curiosity, and cast Kiora for free, which, you know, would give me a break. So this was good for me. more or less. Okay. I mean, as much as Elspeth Smite is good against this deck, it's horrible if it gets interrupted, if they cast an interrupter into this, because basically they just counter it for good. Since you can only cast plotted spells as sorcery. So I thought that this turn would, you know, would be sort of breakthrough for me. But they have another soul partition. And yeah. Also, Avian Interrupters just wrecks the Prankster. All of a sudden, it's not a 2-mana creature, it's a 4-mana creature, 1/3 flying. Now I have to counter it, or they're gonna draw a card and cannot win this. That was rough too. So they cast 2 soul partition and split up. That was, yeah. Very, very crippling for me, those interrupters. So this game, it looks like everything sort of aligned well for them, despite that great trade in combat, let's say, when I blocked Curiosity with Monk and unsummoned 2 of their interrupters. This, I thought that I could wait because with Get Lost I can control Curiosity as well. So I think it got resolved. Yeah, counter it. Not hit a land. Not hit a land drop. I mean, drawing a card would be nice, but at the same time, like, what am I to do about their players, which also draw them cards? So yeah, I think that was it. After they countered my Djinn, I could not recover. that was it. So we moved on to game 3. Yeah. Moved on to game 3. So pranksters, as this game showed, were quite bad because of the interrupters, so I trimmed that, brought back Fountain of the Third Path. Oh, decided not to in the end, you know. Changing the strategy a little bit. Yeah, in the end I decided to bring it back because I'm going to be on the play now. And Founding the Third Path is the best to drop in this deck. Sure, this was gonna do it. Again, as you can see, just, you know, perfect. I think I brought, yeah, Mentor in hand, Kiora Grave, just in case of that Rest in Peace turn 2. So at least I have my backup plan. But no, the coast was clear. So now I'm thinking, you know, they probably have that No More Lies. So if I cast something, not only they counter it, so the Mentor gets exiled, but also they use their mana in the most efficient way, and that's not good for us. So I still have something to do. I still have Moment of Truth, so I decided, you know, I don't need to rush this. Right, Moment of Truth. Okay, the last chapter did not resolve because of the Tidebinder, but thinking first like Helping Hand, but at the same time, you know, like they're tapped out. You can just, yeah, cast Mentor. That's it. Safe. So yeah, I went for it. Again, they don't have a lot of removal, but what did they board? They boarded Rest in Peace. They boarded additional Soul Partitions. I think they played 1 copy main deck and also split up. I think they boarded out Elspeth Smite. So now I was like, let's see, I don't really remember this game, so let's just see. Oops, sorry. Play along. What does it mean? Probably that they just have another No More Lies, so I guess that was okay. 2-1, basically. There was no point for me not to, I guess, if you look in my hand. Yeah. I just didn't have an attack here. But it doesn't matter with 2 Elspeth Smites. Now it's gonna be a good attack. Sure, you want to have all the cantrips possible with Mentor on board. And like, yeah, I knew that. Oof. That's gonna be rough for them. Ghost is cleared, they're tapped out, so that was brutal. Also, if the cast split up, at this point it's not as efficient, let's say, and also I have Unsummon. Okay. I think I decided to cast Moment of Truth before combat, so I have more information. For example, I could find a Saga, or I don't know, Triforce, whatever. Again, still worth it because of prowess. Yeah, and I think it was lethal. Also, they did a pause block, so I think they should have blocked. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Tricky position for them. But even if they counter something, I mean, prowess, there is nothing you can do about prowess. That's it. You see, like, insane. Absolutely crazy. So the monks are so good. Alright, and that was my second win in the standard portion of the VML Championship the past weekend. And here, I'm like, I'm sad because I got paired against main ramp. Like the worst matchup possible. And like, already I was going into this match like thinking, ugh, dang it. So I was going second. It's like, all in all, not counter that, but I mean, I at least still have something to do. But yeah, I knew that if I lose this, I'm probably out of top 12. And the thing is that, I don't know, you have to be like insanely lucky to win this. So I consider the level of players, it's like super high, so you cannot count on a mistake or on a misplay. And this matchup is really like very close to unwinnable, I would say. It's that bad. So I'm not even talking about postboard grave hate. I mean, just like that, you know, they have a lot of exile removal. They have like a bunch of value generating spells, and for us it's very hard to deal with overlords with Atraxa and all of that. You cannot kill them fast enough. Okay, so like you see, this looks good, but so you see at this board state and what's happening, it looks okay. So probably the only spell that you need to counter is Sunfall. Here, like, oh, stop. I'm like, no, I cannot counter that. I almost misplayed. I was like, yeah. No. Also, they were playing an old school, let's say, version of Domain Ramp with angels. I believe nowadays people are playing with overlords only, with white and red. It's like this Azur, yeah, the Zur version of the ramp is probably the most popular version at the moment. And they went for this old school one, let's say. So I'm like thinking, I get like very confused. Like I have a bunch of spells. I have to think about possibility of Sunfall, and actually they can Sunfall me now. But at least I would be able to save one creature to bring it back. But again, it's so bad still. Because it just, you see, just, yeah, kind of devastating. Because you're supposed to be tempo deck. Just sets you aside so much. So maybe I should have flipped Kiora before combat and just to attack with those two creatures. I would be able to save, let's say, I don't know, Kiora, right? Yeah, I think that probably would have been the best play because I could not counter Sunfall. I would deal more damage, and like that amount of pressure, it was still enough for them to cast Sunfall anyways. So yeah. Now, also like with the two beans, with the 2 copies of Haughty stock, yeah, this card advantage, I don't know what deck can beat that, honestly. Like my deck obviously doesn't have that card advantage. So like this was very interesting tech, you know, they played 3 copies I think, analyzed the Fallen. Which is a good find, very good find for the ramp. Like, what do I do now? Still more or less fine. They don't have an answer for Oculus. Problem is that Phantom Interference is pretty much dead card now. A glass casket, can you believe that? It's a glass casket. They play glass casket. Yeah, like this deck, it's just a wrecking ball. A wrecking ball for my deck. Like, as if it wasn't bad enough without that. Also, like, to see how tightly they played, they did not attack with Archangel. Yeah, like, now, okay, this was the only spell that I could counter, but honestly, it probably did not matter for them, because they drew 2 cards out of it. Yeah. Getting frustrated. Honestly, that glass casket totally demoralized me. I'm thinking, what are my outs, honestly? Yeah. So I knew about Rest in Peace in their sideboard, for it all of the negates, for it Exorcise, and Temporary Lockdown, which, you know, I found to be quite good against the ramp, because it removes their beanstalks, it removes, like in this case, Glass Casket. But, I mean, still, it is such a bad matchup. I was like truly demoralized even going into this game, because like I knew it was, yeah, it is very close to unwinnable. I mean, I still did my best, let's say. Probably like that turn before Sunfall, I did not play it optimally, but yeah, I think I just, you know, kind of, I don't know, forgot about flipping Kiora before combat and realized that only afterwards. Yeah, Unsummon is not good. Unsummon in this matchup is to save your own creatures, basically. Mentors. So I'm thinking, yeah, that I have to keep it, because we can probably find a land with Moments of Truth and have a plan. Here I'm just going for it. You have to put early pressure, just, you know, as much as you can. Nothing critical can happen at this point from them, you know. They either deal with Mentor or develop. And I think it's quite critical for them to develop at these early stages. Also, they had this tap land, so I thought that we're good, but... Okay, Rest in Peace. I thought not the end of the world, thanks to Mentor. But of course, like, the irony of it, it was not the first time. When my opponent casts Rest in Peace, I draw Oculus. I was like, oh, of course. What else? But here, yeah, I thought that, okay. I was thinking, yeah, here, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have put Kiora into my hand. But I decided to pick Archive and to just, you know, dig a little bit deeper. Trying to find, I don't know, Exorcise for that Rest in Peace, because with Oculus and Djinn in hand, yeah, it's not great. You don't have gas for the Mentor. Yeah, like here... I'm not sure. Maybe I shouldn't have countered that beans, but I mean, like, this way it's bad, and this way it's bad. Like, which is worse, right? I thought that deny them card advantage gives me a chance. Because, like, I knew that this could be like a sort of a bait. They knew about my negate. Archangel. Okay, now I knew that I could not counter it, but I did it anyways. I mean, I still cast the spell just to save my monks. Okay, now I'm like, okay, we're on. And you see, like, there are a lot of this, like, small decisions. I realized that I probably want to cast Opti before combat, just to dig deeper. Okay, here is Exorcise. I can finally get rid of Rest in Peace, but do I need to do it now? They don't have a good block, so they either take 8, which is fine by me, or they... Champ! They didn't even think about it. That was honestly kind of crazy for me. Like, what does it mean? What did they champ? I mean, taking 4 is not great, of course, but it's not like every turn my monks are gonna be like that. I don't know. I don't know why did they champ then. Like, that felt unnecessary. But this, you see, like, I need to get rid of Rest in Peace with Oculus and Djinn in hand, but also I have to deal with Overlord. Otherwise, like, how can it possibly win? Yeah, and here comes a flying wall. Oh, hello, Zafri. Oh my god, thank you so much for your subscription. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you, thank you. So nice to be back. I'm so sorry I was away for so long. It was totally unplanned. Like, this past 2 weeks were kind of crazy. But yeah, like, they cast the tracks and I'm like, okay, this is a lost cause. This was just a humiliation at this point. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you. Honestly, I'm just gonna skip through a little bit because, yeah, like, my top decks were just miserable. I kept drawing Helping Hand, Djinn, and nothing relevant. Meanwhile, like, as another Overlord I knew about, there are 2 removals in hand, and yeah, it was just devastating. Absolutely devastating. I drew the removal for a Traxxas, but, like, hello. I still have to champ that Overlord and drew another Helping Hand. They, meanwhile, cast a second copy of their Rest in Peace, which, by the way, they have only 2. And, like, to be sure. Yeah, that was, it was painful. Hello, hello, how are you? All right. So, and we are entering the last game of the day. And I got paired against another Azorius Flash. There were 2 players who submitted pretty much the same list of Azorius Flash. And Foxglove is a player named Kiora. And actually, I lost to her in top 8 of the regular season of season 13. She played the same deck. I was on Temur mid-range, so it was a rematch. So again, Azorius Flash is not like a very prominent deck, let's say. But it was a deck of choice for some people in the VML. I just thought that, like, if you expect maybe a lot of Temur mid-range, it's good. But the fact that they were also quite low on standings means that it probably loses to Mono Red and to Otters, which were like decks to beat, let's say, in this tournament. Like here, I feel pretty comfortable. I have a threat on board. I like counter spells. Honestly, don't care about that too much. So yeah, because that's NS and it was pretty devastating for them. Another Djinn, and like honestly, this game was quite easy for me. So Dust Animus all of a sudden becomes a champ blocker. And I believe they have Mastermind, so I know Interrupter. Okay, double champ. And I cast another Djinn. I knew I could commit like that because they did not have a lot of removal. They do have a lot of counterspell, but don't have a lot of removal. So in this tournament, I already played against pretty much the same deck. I think that maybe a couple of cards differ in their sideboard and in their main deck, but pretty much the same deck, honestly. So I boarded in like the same strategy. It worked the last time, so I thought, like, why not? I boarded in Shelter by Costs because not only deals with creatures, most importantly deals with something like Rest in Peace. And again, they don't have a lot of removal, so it can be justified. You don't want to board Shelter by Ghosts against decks with a lot of removal, and like primarily it is against Mono Red, but here I thought that it would work too, and it did. Game 2 was not an easy one. Just because it was quite awkward for me because of this tap lands. And probably I chose the incorrect strategy, but we're about to see that. So I thought, should I sit on Phantom Interference? Like the worst case scenario, they cast Mastermind now, and yeah, like it turned out to be like this. I would probably want to counter that, but with Elspeth Smite, I thought that, you know, it's okay, but yeah, like the worst case scenario happened. Ta-da! I can interrupt her. I mean, I chose that strategy solely because I had that Elspeth Smite, but yeah, Evan Interrupter completely screw that. So I'm taking a lot of damage, which is not ideal, of course. I don't have anything going on my side. And honestly, with 2 Phantom Interference, I think... Anyways, I should have just draw that untap land on my turn 2 and counter Mastermind, and would have been a very different story. Can't have her land. So yeah, now it's very tricky. I don't have anything going on. I don't think I had anything in my graveyard. Okay, if they cast Curse, at least I will be able to counter that, but it's like, what's next? I think, yes, yeah. Here it comes, I counter it. And here comes Rest in Peace. And you see how my Prankster now costs 4 mana because of an Interrupter. So, I still decide to cast that. This is a disaster. Yeah, well. If it resolved, would have been manageable because, of course, it blocks both of these creatures. And next turn, possibly, I can cast Sheltered by Ghosts. But yeah, like, what to do? Bouncing Evan Interrupter is obviously not ideal, but at least I knew that I would be able to cast my Prankster for 2 mana instead of 4. If they, of course, allow me to do that. And like here I realized that I'm just dead on board. Even if I counter their Evan Interrupter, they have Restless Anchorage, they have Manland, so I knew they would do that. I counter that, but I'm just dead on board. And of course, Kiora, my opponent, she saw that too. So that was the game. Yeah, that was very awkward situation with my tap lands. So you see like how all of the small decisions, they matter so much. Like down to your land drops, picking the right strategy. Yeah, just you see how I probably did not analyze my hand correctly because I had 2 Phantom Interference. So instead of like trying to dig to develop like by dropping tap lands, I should have, you know, just played more in control side because I did not have anything else really. And yeah, that Elspeth's Mind was just too risky, you know, too unreliable, because I knew about Evan Interrupters too. But yeah. Okay, here, like, at least, okay, I don't have to make this type of decisions with land drops. At least there's that. Help in Hand, at this point, I don't really need it, but it's just, you know, it's a key card in my deck, so I probably have to pick it. Have to just dig deeper with Moment of Truth. Again, you see like 2 mana open. I don't have to rush things. I don't want them to use their mana optimally, and I have things to do, let's say, on their turn as well. So bunch of lands. But that was okay. I mean, was not mad at it, because on 4 mana and Djinn you can operate perfectly. Like, this is your ideal situation. Even with like Monastery Mentor and 1 mana open, just, you know, you see like this hand is good. So it's like checking for traps, just casting spells before combat in this matchup gives me more information, so it was the reasoning. All right. It was very odd. I thought, what could it be? Curiosity? No, nothing. It's kind of wild. It's like literally nothing happened last turn. I mean, that was a pretty safe attack for me anyways. That was pretty neat for them. You see how I cannot smite it, and they're gonna trade with my Djinn, but I mean, with Help in Hand, I don't know, maybe I think she should have just locked Mentor, honestly. This way she would have had Creature, and I mean, she knew about Help in Hand, right? That one. Okay, that was the plan. All right. Now I see why she blocked the way she did, but yeah. All right, so it resolved. It resolved. I mean, still, I was left with a very, very solid board presence. So now, yeah. And now it's just, oof. That's gonna be a lot of damage. Crazy. Just 10 damage. And I think that was it. See, just prowess. You don't need those spells to resolve, because prowess is the most important for monks. You trigger that prowess, like, you're good. I mean, okay, it did not record the end, but that attack was lethal, as you probably figured out. So yeah, I finished the standard portion. with the record 3-1 and unfortunately limited with 0-3. That was so heartbreaking. So I was 18th by standing, so I did not receive regional championship qualification, unfortunately. But yeah, like still, I mean, it was an amazing experience, incredible event, and I was so happy to be part of it. And you know, just like the fact that it was actually an event that qualifies you to the Pro Tour. So I had the chance. Unfortunately, yeah, I did not get it. Next time, yes, I'm still in my competitive era. I've just entered it and I cannot be happier, honestly. Next stop is regional championship in Prague. So now I have to focus on modern. And the trickiest part is that, again, I don't have a lot of time for that because the championship is in the end of January. And every competitive modern player is now waiting for bans and restrictions announcement, which is gonna happen next week, I believe. So yeah, like everyone's just, you know, holding their breath. Are they gonna ban the One Ring or not? So yeah, we shall see about that. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Tomorrow I will be back actually with modern. Oh yeah, that's so lovely. Yeah, Jant is always gonna be in my heart, like forever. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow with modern. So we're gonna be like in the waiting room for the bans and restrictions. Let's say. All right, let's raid somebody, and I will see you tomorrow. Hope it was fun. It was useful, this sort of stream where I don't actually play but like analyze my games. It was a very competitive tournament, very high level players, like only high level players, very stacked field. All right, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.